We are here gathered to take out some issues that has cropped up in our constituency about the EC. And if we don't take much care or effort to correct some issues, they shouldn't blame the NDC for not saying so. We are doing our best this morning to correct some anomalies that are going on in the constituency with regard to the registration. You recall yesterday, 29th July, our agents of Alhaji Bawa challenged one Joseph Cudjoe for being non-residential here in our constituency. And we have issues also against a registration officer who also tried to do something that we don't like. I want to mention the few things that the registration officer did, and I want to itemize them here. One, the registration officer intentionally denied our agents, the NDC agents, of the challenge form on time. That means we were trying to stampede the process of the challenging. Two, the registration officer also instructed the data entry officer to proceed the process after he has asked the registration to start the process. Three, the registration officer also denied a copy of the complete challenge form to the agent. He denied that. He didn't give it to him. More as per the CI, a copy of the challenge form should be given to the registration officer. The registration officer denied that. Four, by the actions of the registration officer, the data entry machine could not capture the challenge of Joseph Cudjoe. That means Joseph Cudjoe could not complete the process as the challenge form or the challenging process should be. He couldn't do that. So we are also calling on the Electoral Commission to call the officer to book or to call the officer to order. Then also, our challenge of Joseph Cudjoe. Joseph Cudjoe has left this constituency well above 20 years now. 20 years. He's now residing at Impinting, and you can all testify to that. And we have proofs and everything to show to that extent. So here, we are telling the country or the Electoral Commission to do well to correct those things. Now, we don't know what may happen if these things continue.
Effia is a very peaceful constituency. It's a constituency that we have decided to ensure that the electoral process go on smoothly. Now, nobody should take us for a ride. We can rise up to the occasion if we are pushed to the wall. In fact, what we want the EC to understand is that we are not cowards. You have given us explanation and modalities as far as registration process is concerned. You are telling us that if someone is not a resident of a particular constituency, that person cannot register in that constituency. Here is a gentleman who lives outside the constituency. He has been the member of parliament at the blind side of us. This time around, we have risen to the occasion. We want him to understand that once the CI says that you are not resident in this particular constituency, you cannot register. We would also ensure that he doesn't go through the registration process. What happened at the police station was an eyesore. If yesterday we had taken things into our own hands, it would have been bloodbath. But we decided that we wanted peace, so we allowed it to go. If a registration process is starting, and I ask you for a challenge from telling you that this person is not resident yet, the immediate thing you do is that you hand me a challenge form. You don't wait for the process to go through, and then you get a point, you instruct your entry officer to continue with the process because the challenge has not gone through. Who does that? And when we insisted that we needed a copy of the challenge form, you still said you were not giving it to us. Later on, when we pushed you to the wall, then you gave it to us. Meanwhile, the gentleman had gone through the process. We have individuals in this constituency. Would you believe that someone who lives in Tanokrom got here and then wanted to register? He was denied. He was challenged, in fact, for non-residents. The person lives in the same constituency with us, East Tanokrom, and he wants to register in Effia Zongo. and you are telling us that the person is not resident, how much more someone who lives outside the constituency? He lives in Pinton, and everybody in Effia can testify to that fact. If you are challenging individuals who even live with us in this constituency, how much more someone who lives outside the constituency? We want Ghanaians to understand that, look, if we also want to rise up to the occasion, like the way they want to go about the registration process, we will do things that they will not like. If the EC do not call or fail to call the officer to book, when we rise up, they should not blame us. They should not blame us when we rise up against this particular injustice. We are fed up of the injustice and the mistreatment. We are equally Ghanaians. Nobody is above any individual in this constituency. He's an honorable because he has gotten the opportunity to be there. And we are the same people who voted for him. And if he is not from this constituency, we want him to go back to where he's coming from, to go and register.
What happened yesterday was that when our agent asked for the challenge form, the lady in question intentionally delayed. She will go pick this thing, put it here, pick this thing, put it here, as if she's looking for something. And that is not the case. Because one, I was there, seated, looking at the lady. She will go bring this bag. Search, oh, let me go and bring this one, because it was not there. So I asked the agent to draw the attention of the data entry officer that he shouldn't proceed until the challenge takes place. So the data entry guy came back to find out from the registration officer, who happens to be the boss. The registration officer asked the data entry guy to proceed. And that is how come the Honorable Cudjoe had his card. Because we did all that we could right from the word go. Because we know what the law says. We know exactly our left and our rights. So we did as we could. But what happened is that, as my colleague said, the organizer, if we were to take this in our own hands, yesterday it would have been very bloody. If anybody is challenged, the machine will record it. At the tail end of it, you see it over there, that the number of people challenged, it will be there. It will indicate that somebody has been challenged. If there are 2, 3, 4, the machine will indicate that 4 people have been challenged. But in this case, because of what happened yesterday, the man in question here, Honorable Cudjoe, came late. And when after he was given the card, he left the center. Because we pushed, the lady went for the card, but did not bring Honorable Cudjoe so that his fingerprint could be taken in order to be captured by the machine. So as we speak, the machine in question did not capture Honorable Cudjoe's fingerprint, and therefore making it as if there hasn't been any kind of challenge over there. If you look at the face value of the printout as it is. So we are now questioning, or we are now telling EC to ensure that their officers do the needful. When we ask for anything, if they want peace, they'll have it. If they want chaos, they'll have it. Because we are peace-abiding people. Yesterday, we did what we could. We have 36 more to go, and we have 19 to complete today. Anytime MPP asks for a challenge form, they are given. So if we ask for, we should be given. And they should never take us for granted. They shouldn't say because he's an honorable member, they should break this issue just like that. Because it will never happen. We know our rights, and we are going to take it as far as we can.
I know some American and don't pay a KB, but in you pa no womb. We send there, there, Yamabi are finance, we send the Bokobokona and into we feed there, ye nissing, I able to Miyaka. But if you cook will be a no mum, on them, abutar, na pepe ya ye pinti, ye Jenny na defitano yadeba, but Dambrino, there, a pede magana may know who there, Effia Constituency, NDC for Yenso, ye better there, Mawumian. Yanis, I mean there, Yabakano, Odicano, or ye easy officials awaha, Pimpuna washer. Abato another in Toronto do oye alaji ba hano nyame be record in fact oye yo ntini ye pede anope ye ma we are seeing now what's yanesem modi kan de oye registration officer obi a odi wo ban na o hano oye nyame bi a oye yo oye den obi ba nka me yimi de se me pe challenge form de nipa all bebe osimesi all be register and all be true ni question mark bi won ho another some can bi won ho nti sebi one mam oye krata motum ma church ro mensem wodo meda akodal oye easy na ma challenge there until ha another sebi saint america dey bia ontum register no na mom say raise the issues here mpempi na we start registration yehu there easy fu no say NDC agent no bebisa oye democrat asem na one farm na mom say MPP yi onu mom obisa pe na we ya man na mom ye da hye hye da mbe awsa em there sisi ano oye wa ya asem amen the registration officer we here la ye challenge oye honorable Joseph Cudjoe there on here ni sentin there be ye 20 years ni we fi oye constituency mu on here nti on sentin na ye challenge no there ontum on register on throw ni din na wato aba wa ha kepem there obotum po wa fa oye behye begom krata do odirigina nti no yem wa itiase there sisi ano onte ha nti so opedo register baby oti em painting all fall under oye iskadu keten nti so opedo oye bibia throw ni din no oto aba dia em there ho no na em there order okoko throw ni din dem bre wetintin wo oye yisi na Ghana mbresem no nti no ono na otode bie otode basa mbra process no record no nyina no NDC agent ni bisa paper no opera challenge no in fact yisi official no odinai na aka pemede process no call ya aka pemede bia we wie ni ID card no ni na mu no gengen ho nti o kapembra NDC fo wo ye de akoma na akosoro na nyamali ye butu no ansa na okoyi forms na abama wa fill in nature no process no say den ka we wie na wa challenge no odo osamba no odin sabato efiri no do me efiri no tintim mo oba nkrata ado de dam osimesi no no ho wo nsem kan anada nsem bisabi wo needing tro na oltro no mu no oye honorable Joseph Cudjoe wan pene wan fane sambato efiri a ye kan do ma nti sisi ara ye rekese needing na apia wa ha de wa register wa ha na de wa tro needing wa ha ne card na kasa mu me de sisi ambra ye kase ya nya nti de owo yisi officials no anade officer no ho ha nti maye pa kan de sisi ano ya ye ya bre nti Joseph Cudjoe afi no onko bebia ofi na Effiafo ye nya he na asomdwe otore bien kwajiba ono so em do contest MPP fi won na bi no so ohu de onfi ha na wo be challenge no okọ etiwa sedan kokotro ni din no ohu de dam orbado no ntem nara no de emika call oye yisi office wo mo akotro ni din nanti enyan de wa tro ni din mo na to housing intinu sisia ono so no em de no so ne din nsem kan wo ho a ye pre de yisi fu wo bohwe no wa hwa me sentin de no so onte oye ye no constituency ha me enyim de ote anaje intinu so mfiri ha nti ye ne nsem kakra em de ye pede ye kanu the registration officer ye kana seminu oni di ni Mrs. Vera Davidson owo Alhaji Bawa polling station no code ho center code ni ye A080412 intino yesre de yisi se wo se wo pasomdwe dia ye besre hon ye yim da ye kese wa sugu yendo wo te pa ye ma won mbrika kebi se wan frɛ won kofunu to order mo besi wa ha no ma won blame NDC fo osanda ya ya bokobokoboko wo fi de ye nim ka afi ye betre on de ye wosen san na no ye nam on na ye pere etiefu a wo tie ye na wa so egu ye ndo no wonya ho ntiase ano pe menye na akasa oye eko inso oni data entry officer ehwe yisi ana constitution ni mambra ne kire de nko de CI 91 no o kire de o de one man a copy of them challenge form na ya challenge no ba nso de yisi fu na ye den wa mahen we deny them access no and you feel there said them record bebre in fact mo besi wa ha no ye nyi so nti ye besre de yisi fo mbre na wada ba mahen yen timemfu ye dudu no ye besre on de won so wo bedidu amahen and sana ma onsem fata we see we deny ye no right because we know the right no go with responsibilities nti we've been responsible enough de yenya akumato ye matured but if up to date waba start ejuma wabra one man copy no intinu ye free yisifu there any moment from now say yisifu amba no amba men copy as the constitution and other CIN demands are mobesi wahano, they should not blame us.
EC officers no. Yenon edin komo. Na yedin komo no. What's the Yamfa Krata Fambra office? Nti Sakrata no so Yakupandum why ready? Nti anupaya yeno endin komo we pay the Sakrata na air office. Nti ada ye pese yedoka ho bako onyen na ampate se mo kan no eye card no waji but mrana mudie yen challenge no because didn't want register new nti say isi fo no pe on betima ye din nti at the end of the day on kita card ba betima to aba ko ni din baba nti that is the reason why nti oy penyin nti na yebo ho dawuru na nkofo ate mo WhatsApp na ama bibi say ya isi a o mo amblemi ende yanye mo sefata nti at least ya mo sefata no kwale there the constituency etnas in mpanyinfu wo the first step was yemfa krata na fanko nti the krata no kona se yenya humwa ya megidi se mrepapam nu mpanyinfu betenase na mo de ye bia no ye besana afre wona ya ma waso ate